On tonight's edition of Newswatch 18, we find out what ISU is laughing about at VEISHEA Says I'm Funny.
We find out what questions are being asked at Sai's House of Trivia.
And I'll be on the ball for sports tonight.
And can we expect eating out weather for the rest of VEISHEA week? Stay tuned to find out tonight on Newswatch 18.
This is Newswatch 18.
Milwaukee.
Newswatch 18 starts now.
April 16th edition of Newswatch 18. I'm David Geiger.
And I'm Jane Morrison. Thanks for joining us for the last Tuesday Newswatch of the semester.
Students are invited to join the comedy at VEISHEA Says I'm Funny, showcasing the stand-up comedy skills of Iowa State students. A panel of judges and a little audience input will decide which jokes are the most funny. VEISHEA Says I'm Funny began minutes ago at 8 p.m. and is free and open to the public. Swing by the M Shop tonight after Newswatch to catch the rest of the show.
Students are singing for the fences at VEISHEA with Cyclone Idol on Wednesday. On Wednesday, 12 finalists chosen during a preliminary round will fight for the honor of being the next Cyclone Idol. Young MC is set to judge the finalists before performing a few of his hits. Cyclone Idol is at 7 p.m. on Wednesday in the Great Hall. Doors open at 6 p.m. and the event is free and open to the public.
Heavy storms weren't enough to hold off Iowa State fans from packing Hilton Coliseum on Saturday night. Matt Van Winkle and Julie Farrell take you inside Iowa State's very own trivia contest.
Hilton Coliseum is used to selling out concerts and basketball games, but for the second straight year, Sai's House of Trivia can be added to the list. The annual trivia contest was held on the floor of Hilton Saturday night. Nearly 1,000 people filled a record 88 tables. Sai's House of Trivia is a fun-filled night of 10 rounds of trivia. Topics range from movies, geography, and the crowd favorite Iowa State round. Questions are displayed on the video board at center court. Teams must answer the questions and submit them to the judges' table. Diane Helt has been competing since the tournament started 7 years ago.
We're pretty good. We've come in third place twice before, out of like 50 teams. So we're pretty good. And one year I think we were fourth. So we're usually up there. We've had the same team members pretty much since the beginning, and everybody kind of has their area of specialty though. Like I'm kind of the movies and pop culture person, and then we have somebody else who's like the Iowa State athletics person. So.
Welcome to the 6th annual Sai's House of Trivia.
60 different Iowa State celebrities rotated around to different tables. Men's basketball coach Fred Hoiberg, basketball star Royce White, and football coach Paul Rhodes were some of the featured celebrities this year. Steve Kenton, one of the tournament referees, says his job is to keep a close eye on people cheating.
I guess the major thing is that people will have cell phones, which of course have internet access, and so they'll use those devices for finding answers to the questions. So we have the people put their cell phones in the fishbowl on the table so they can't use them.
For $500, your team gets a table and all you can eat and drink throughout the night. All of the proceeds from the event are given back to Ames in the Iowa State community. For ISU TV with Julie Farrell, I'm Matt Van Winkle.
Sai's House of Trivia started in 2007 with just 28 teams.
Orchesis 2 is a campus organization dedicated to all types of dance. The members will be putting on their spring 2012 show entitled Images this Sunday. The show includes 14 dances of differing styles, all choreographed and performed by Iowa State students. The show will take place in Forco Hall at 4 p.m. and 6 p.m.
An Iowa State student has been nominated as a Udall Scholar. A senior in industrial engineering, Casey Fangman, is one of 80 students in the nation to receive this honor. This achievement is awarded to students who show great promise for making significant contributions to their respective field after college. Fangman has interned 3 summers with Rockwell Collins, has served as a president of the Greenhouse Group at Iowa State, nominated as one of the top 5 candidates for America's Next EcoStar, and has achieved many other awards and honors. Udall Scholars will join together in Arizona to receive their awards. Each award winner receives a $5,000 scholarship.
The former Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk Trophy depicting a farm family huddled around a bushel of corn was abandoned after criticism last year. Fans can pick a new trophy from 3 different designs by voting online. Voting has already started and will continue through April 30th. The winning design will go to the winner of the September 8th game between the Cyclones and Hawkeyes at Kinnick Stadium.
So, Chrissy, I hear you have some good sports news for us tonight?
I sure do. Stay tuned after the break. Welcome back to Newswatch Sports. I'm Chrissy Amaya. Cyclones women golfers will travel to Columbus, Ohio this weekend. The Lady Buckeye Invitational is scheduled at Ohio State this Friday and Saturday. Golfers compete all day for both days. Last year at the Invitational, the Cyclones placed 6th. This past weekend at the Mountain View Collegiate, the Cyclones placed 2nd. A record was set for the best 54-hole score at 865 in ISU history. The Cyclones' top 5 women golfers averaged 76.51 strokes. Sophomore Prima Thamarax takes the top spot on the team with a stroke average of 75.29 and has had 3 top 10 finishes. The Cyclone track and field team are westward bound this Thursday. The Mount SAC Relays takes place in Walnut, California. The Cyclones begin competing at 4 p.m. Thursday in Central Daylight Time and continue throughout the weekend. Several runners will compete in the Brian Clay Invitational in Cerritos and the Beach Invitational in Azusa. Tomorrow, the Cyclone softball team will begin the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series. Iowa State will face longtime rival Iowa in Ames. So far this year, Iowa State has 15 wins while Iowa has 10. Cyclone juniors Erica Miller and Tori Torrescano both hit home runs in the second softball game last Saturday. This is the second time in the season that both have hit home runs in the same game. Tomorrow's game starts at 4:30 p.m. at the Southwest Athletic Complex. The Cyclone football team gave one of their fans a shout-out at their spring game. Ames High School freshman Thomas Clem, the son of ISU accounting professor Ann Clem, was brought onto the field as a surprise to meet the players before their game. Clem recently had surgery to remove the rare form of cancer he developed in his leg. The team congratulated Clem on his successful surgery and offered words of encouragement to Clem's ambition to get back on the Ames High football field. And that's all I have for sports. Christy, everyone wants to know, what's the forecast going to be for VEISHEA?
Well, we've got some pretty exciting weather coming up. Be sure to tune back in. You're watching Newswatch 18. Welcome back to Newswatch 18. I'm Kyle Steingraber with your cyclone forecast. So today we had a high of 62 degrees. The wind was southeast, at 13 miles per hour. Humidity was at 57%. So that's all the nitty-gritty about today. I'm sure if you went out to class today, some of you may have skipped on account of it being VEISHEA. But if you did manage to make it to class today, I'm sure you noticed it was kind of balmy this morning and not all that grayed out. When I was coming up to the station today, this afternoon and this evening, it was absolutely beautiful out. I had the windows down, the wind was blowing a little bit, it was just absolutely grand. Unfortunately, that weather may not hold throughout the week. To quote one of my favorite weathermen, it's gonna rain. We have a slight possibility of rain throughout the rest of the week and up to the end of VEISHEA. However, this is a very minor chance of rain, so the odds of us having a pretty nice parade they're pretty high. As you know, the parade's going to be on Saturday, and our forecast for that's looking pretty good. It might be a little cloudy, but you never know, the sun might manage to poke through there, so it'll be a good time to enjoy all that VEISHEA has to offer us in the parade. The concerts that are later that evening after the parade should also have pretty nice weather. Like I was mentioning, the rain it might manage to poke its head in there every now and then. But on the whole, we should have a pretty good concert on Saturday night. The same holds true for Friday night. As I mentioned, it might rain. But then again, there's always the chance that it won't rain. So we may have the opportunity to have an absolutely splendid VEISHEA. We'll get to enjoy the cloud cover, maybe a little sun poking out every now and then. We'll basically get to enjoy the concerts at a nice, 55, 65 degrees Fahrenheit, of course, not Celsius. And we'll have the opportunity to enjoy that wonderful weather. And then moving into next week, it looks like we could actually have some interesting weather patterns moving in, but I have run out of time. David, what do you have to share about pizza?
A man trying to stop his pizza falling lost more than his dinner Saturday. The Omaha man was driving his car when his pizza began to fall off the seat, and he reached over to catch it. Unfortunately, he lost control of his car and hit a pole. But the car then flipped, but the driver was not injured. It's very unfortunate, isn't it?
It really is. I hate to hear about people losing their pizza like that. It's absolutely horrible.
Maybe he lost a little bit more than that.
Maybe.
And that's all we have for this edition of Newswatch 18. Thanks for joining us. We would like to, before we close, we'd like to give a little shout out to our producer, Brandon Blue, who's been with us for the past year producing weekly. He's graduating this semester, and we would just like to give him a big thanks for producing for us.
So make sure you tune in each night the rest of this week for our extensive VEISHEA coverage on top of more news, weather, and sports. Have a great night.
That was great. That was great. I like that.